The good news is I think I might have found the perfect budget wild camping tent. But the bad news is I've found it too late. So this is a Campz Loreze 2-person backpacking tent. It weighs just a smidgen over 2 kilos and it only cost me 95 quid. But the problem is you can't buy these anymore. They used to be sold by Ad Nature and their sister site Bikester, but the company that owns both of those has gone into administration. They have been bought out by a company called WeSports. So if this is any good, there is a small chance that we could get onto them and get them to make a few more. Let me get it set up and then I'll give you a proper look. So this is what comes in the bag. You've obviously got your poles, which are aluminium. I think they're only 6mm, but as I said, it's a budget tent. It's not going to be 70-mile-an-hour wind proof. And the pegs are quite nice. They're these nice and lightweight kind of Y-shaped pegs with a bit of a spiral on them. And then you've obviously got your tent inner and outer. I have done a video before with a Campz tent. It was the old Campz 1-person tent, but that was a bit of a weird one. It was a single skin tent, but it got a big door on the front with like a canopy on it, and then a little door at the back that looked like it was to let a dog in or something. It's a German brand, but even when you look on the Campz German website, this tent doesn't even exist on there anymore. I think I'm doing this right. Guess we'll find out soon. So the poles go into these sleeves on each corner, and then it just clips on at a few different points. We've got a vent on the end here, some toggles for guy lines, I'm guessing. We'll have a look at those in a minute. And then I just need to get some pegs in it and peg the doors out. But if that is right, it only took me a couple of minutes to put that up. I'm just having a look how many guy lines it comes with, because I've only got 2 pegs left. I think it's probably my fault because I've used 2 pegs on each door, and really these could just go over 1 peg. So I might have to do that in a minute to get these guy lines on. I don't really need the guy lines on, to be fair, but there's always somebody that moans if you don't set the tent up properly. There she is. It's quite a nice looking tent, to be fair. So I've put all the guy lines out in each corner. As I said, it comes with 4 and I've wrapped them around the pole. But with the design of the tent, with the poles being on the outside, you could add as many more guy lines or extra guy lines as you wanted, really, I guess. We've got a vent on each end, and then it's double-sided as well. There's a door on each side. So we'll have a proper look in a minute, but you can open up one side or both by the looks of it, because we've got a toggle there. And then I'm pretty sure the door design's the same on both sides. Yep, so you've got this curve that kind of goes around for one side, and then I think you can open up both sides, but I suppose we better jump in and have a look, eh? So where this door curves around at the top, it's actually just a little bit of a rain cover, I guess you'd call it. So the zip goes straight up the middle, then it gives you this bit of hood to protect you from any rain and stop any rain going onto the inner. There is still, though, a gap between the top of the door there and the inner of about that much, about 7 or 8 inches. So if it was pelting it down, you probably would still get a little bit of rain inside. On the inner, we've got solid material up to about 1/3 of the way up, and then mesh up to the top. There's a single toggle thing here to hold the door up. It'd be nice to have one further up here. I don't think there is one, but I am nitpicking now for a 95 quid tent, really, aren't I? We've got 2 zips on the door here, and the door goes most of the way around, so all the way across the bottom and the top, to give you a really big spacious opening to get in and out of. One thing I will say is the base of the tent doesn't feel very thick. I think the materials for the outer are 20D sil nylon, and I think it feels like it's the same for the base as well. You could get a footprint for it when it was on sale, but I can't get one now because obviously they've stopped selling it. I am nitpicking again, but it'd be nice to have like a stuff pocket to put this door in, rather than faffing about with that toggle, especially considering that there is a pocket on that side. if there was one on the other side of the door as well, you'd be able to shove the door into the pocket on that side and keep the other one for storage. I can feel a stick or a twig underneath here that I've missed, so let me try and get that out. So this is the inner. I'll get the tape measure out in a bit and measure it properly. As usual, it's pegged as a 2-man tent, but it's probably not quite wide enough for 2 people and 2 large size mats, not without pushing the inner out with the mats. One weird thing I have noticed, well, it's probably due to the size of the materials used, there is a seam here that runs all the way along that bathtub floor, and it probably is due to the width of the material that they've used to manufacture it, because there isn't a seam on this side. Vestibule space is pretty decent. You've got the same vestibule on both sides. It's probably just enough space to cook, but you'd have to be very careful because this door slopes down quite gradually, so it's not massively tall here, but there's plenty of space to store a pack and a pair of boots. I'm just glad as well that everything's there for the tent, because I didn't check before I came out, which I should have done. You can tell spring's on the way or almost here as well, because there's loads of little flies and gnatty type things flying around already. So let me get the rest of my stuff in, and then I can close these doors up to stop any creepy crawlies getting in. Now it is warming up, I can go back to my ice flame quilt, which I really like. No more dodgy winter sleeping bags and freezing at night, hopefully. Right, before I forget, I'm going to measure this tent. So depth wise, let me make sure I've got that pushed out. It's about 127 centimetres, but as you can probably see at the other end there, I am really pushing that out. Usable space, I would say you're looking about 115, 120 max, and then the length, we'll get a better idea when I get my mat in, but you're talking roughly about 208 centimetres. And then height wise, 95. And the headspace should be pretty decent, because you've got essentially a flat roof on the top, rather than like an apex that you get in a lot of tents that gives you hardly any room. That vestibule depth as well is 65 centimetres, but as I said, because of the slope of those doors, it's not really 65 centimetres of usable space. Unless you've got a small stove that's quite close to the floor, I wouldn't be cooking in there. I've bought my flex tail lipstick pump thing, and I'm hoping I've bought the right adapter for it. I didn't really check it before I came out, so that could be interesting. Let's have a look. I did charge it up though, which is a bonus, isn't it? Brace yourself. Definitely a lot quieter than the bigger tiny pump. Just wondering which way around to put things. Would you set things up so your head was that way, so you're kind of getting into the tent and rolling that way, or would you be the other way and kind of rolling on your left? I think I tend to sleep on my left side, but I don't know what's going to be easier getting in and out. What would you do? We have got quite a lot of rain forecast tonight, so it should be a good test for the tent. Hopefully it won't leak. Suppose you want a quick tent tour, don't you? And a quick run through of what I've actually bought with me. So there's no surprises with the sleep system really. Still rocking the light tall mat, still loving that. I'm still loving as well the big Sea to Summit pillow, especially with that pillow lock system that just keeps it from moving around on your sleep mat. Got the ice flame down quilt, and then I've kept it quite minimal for this camp. I've got a adventure food pasta bolognese. I've never tried their meals before, so I'm looking forward to that. Some chocolate raisins. I bought the Sussex Outdoors pouch as well to rehydrate my meal in and store my electricals in overnight. Then for my stove system, I've just got a little titanium pot, my Sea to Summit mug, then I've got my BRS stove in there. Cole from Outdoor Gear Essentials sent me some of these little X-shaped elastic band things as well, so I've swapped my bag for one of those. It's just a bit lighter and a bit easier to get on and off. I've just got my drinks down there. Nobody's sponsored my water bottle yet. I said in a previous video, if you send me one of your stickers, if you've got a YouTube channel, or send me a sticker for anything really, I'll stick it on my bottle and it'll get shown on all my videos, because I always bring this bottle along. My pack is the Osprey Stratos 36, and that'll get shoved in that corner down there. So yeah, that's me set up. As I said, I'm keeping it quite simple tonight. It's just about getting out into the outdoors, soaking it up a bit, and trying out this new tent. Well, I say new, I've had it for probably about 3 months, to be honest. I've just never really had a chance to bring it out. It is nice now the nights are drawing out as well. It's only 10 to 4, and I think it's starting to get dark around 6 o'clock at the minute, but it is getting light a lot earlier in the morning. We're just coming up to that point where we change the clocks, so it'll be light a lot later, and that opens up all kinds of new possibilities for me, because believe it or not, I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I work full-time, so camps for me are weekends most of the year, but there's that sweet spot sort of at the end of spring and summer where it's light late enough that I can finish work, get out for a camp, and then be back ready for work the next day, or go out for a camp on a Friday and come back on the Saturday. It's horrible in winter when you get up and go to work in the dark, and then you finish work and it's dark, and I don't think people realise how much it affects them until you start getting a bit of daylight again, and then you realise how crap it is. I think the forecast says it's only going to get down to 8 degrees tonight, so should be nice. I will be able to start getting out a bit further afield again as well. When you've only got a short window of time before it gets dark to get somewhere, I tend to just come to places like this that are quite close to where I live, sort of within half an hour or an hour or so. So I'll be getting back up Kinder at some point, back up into the Peak District. I've got one of the Nortent Vern 1 tents to try out, so I'll get back up Kinder and see if that one collapses on me. Thanks as well to everybody who commented on my video where I tried out hammock camping. I had loads of comments with helpful tips and suggestions and other things to try out. I have got another hammock setup on the way that's not as budget as the one that I bought, and should be a better size and shape and fit for me. So I'll give that a go when it arrives, and you can tell me what I'm doing wrong with that. You ever had one of these adventure food ones? You know I love my pasta bolognese, but I've not tried this one before. I forgot to tell you as well, I've had some new trousers. So these are Craghoppers. I think they're Kiwi Pro or Kiwi something anyway. I got them from their outlet on their website. They had a big sale on a couple of weeks ago. They've got reinforced bits on their knees and reinforced arse area, but they seem quite nice so far. Time to try this meal, I think. There was something I was going to talk to you about, and it's about YouTube itself. Obviously, I like making YouTube videos, but I do like watching them as well, and that's kind of how I got started, with watching other people making videos and thinking that looks really enjoyable. I'd like to have a go at that, and you know, usual story. But it seems like recently, I don't know if it's since we came out of lockdown and everybody's gone back to work and not got enough time, or people have just got other things on these days. There seems to be a lot less outdoorsy, wild camping type content out there. And it might just be me, it might just be the algorithms decided that I've been watching that much crap on YouTube that I'm not that interested in it anymore. And I looked around the other night and found about 6 or 7 videos that I managed to get through. But that was it really. There used to be a lot more than that. So if you've got any decent channels that you watch that aren't necessarily the obvious most popular ones, that are just people that have maybe not been found by the algorithm yet, or don't have loads of subscribers, drop them in the comments and I'll have a look, because I do need some more stuff to watch. Oh, it's got peas in it. Who put peas in something like that? It's turned out to be quite a nice evening, to be fair, weather-wise. Forecast saying it's going to start raining a little bit about 8 o'clock, so it'll be interesting to see how that tent performs and whether it leaks or not, especially with that seam across the bottom of it and the flat roof. Hopefully I don't get any pooling on it. Alright, we'll have a quick try of this and then I'll probably retire to the tent for a bit. It's starting to lose light now. It looks quite nice, to be fair. The pasta's like spiral pasta. It's nice, that. Right, I'll finish this up and then I'll see you back in the tent. There was some weird onion inside that meal that didn't seem to rehydrate properly. Everything else did, but the onion was really like chewy and plasticky. So unfortunately, the Adventure Foods pasta bolognese has not made it into my top 5 bolognese meals, but the search continues. So I've just got into the tent and it's literally just started to rain as I've got in, so good timing. I'm going to chill for a bit now, listen to the rain, relax, get some sleep, and I'll see you in the morning for a full report on how this tent performs and an initial verdict on it. Good night. So it's just gone 10 o'clock. I've been in the tent in quite reasonably heavy rain for a couple of hours now, and I can't see any signs of it leaking at all. There's a little bit of pooling on the roof, but there's nothing coming through. Mrs. Daly just rang me and she's not very well, so I am going to have to pack up and get home and make sure she's all right. But as I say, the tent's performed well up to now. I will take it out again. Let me know what you think to it and whether we should get a petition going with WeSports to try and make a few more of these, especially at that price at £95. I don't think you can go wrong. But I'm going to get packed up in the dark and in the rain, get myself home, make sure the missus is all right, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm not sure all that would have stayed there all night though, to be fair. Ugh.